Hi, I'm Stephanie, and welcome to Seam Series. Seam spoke to Jolavan Wam, the Executive Director of the Humanitarian Organization for Migration Economics, or HOME for short. HOME is an NGO in Singapore that advocates for the rights of foreign workers. We talked to him about the state of human trafficking in Singapore and Southeast Asia and all the challenges that are being faced in the region right now. What do you think is the state of human trafficking in Singapore right now? And could you describe the flows of people who are being trafficked into Singapore and out of Singapore?
Right, okay. It's difficult to ascertain numbers, so we don't have any reliable figures about how many people are being trafficked. And as we know, trafficking tends to be an underground phenomenon, so it's very difficult for us to tell how many victims are actually in Singapore, how many are in transit, how many have actually departed. So I don't think the government also has reliable statistics on this. The only kinds of statistics they will have will be based on migrants who go to them for help, and if they are able to identify these migrants as traffic victims, then it will be captured in their database. But there are no reliable statistics. For HOME at least, in a 1 year period, we see and we identify about an average about 15 trafficked migrants, of whom, and these migrants will be referred to the Manpower Ministry. They have a trafficking task force for establishments. We see so many migrant workers who tell us that they are unwilling to file complaints because they're afraid of losing their jobs, they're afraid of being sent back, they're afraid that their families might be harmed, they're afraid that they won't be able to pay back their recruitment debts. So we have a situation now where the legislation does not incentivize and encourage them to testify and file complaints. So this is one of the challenges that needs to be addressed in human trafficking in Singapore.
There's also a lot of talk about using prevention as like the most effective model in order to prevent human trafficking in the first place. It's, I guess, a public health approach as opposed to like a prosecution approach. So this would be looking at like the root causes of human trafficking, like poverty, discrimination, lack of education, etc., and tackling those things first. What do you think about those like relatively long-term solutions or root causes?
Well, I think it's important because one of the reasons migrants go abroad to work is because of poverty. Right? Migration has to be a genuine choice. You shouldn't feel compelled to leave your country because your family cannot survive, or you don't have enough money to send your children to school, or that you don't have money to pay for medical treatment of your parents. So I think it is wrong for migrants to choose to go overseas to work because of survival. So I always come back to this issue that migration has to be a genuine choice. So which means that the governments of sending countries need to have measures that they need to ensure that their economy is able to provide adequate jobs with sustainable incomes for their people. So I think that's the first thing that needs to be addressed. Otherwise, we won't be able to deal with the problems of trafficking and migrant labor exploitation, etc. So that really is, in my view, the root cause of trafficking. Inequality and poverty. But we can't wait, for economies to do better, for governments to provide jobs for their people before doing anything. So that's why it's important for us to look at trafficking and the kinds of abuses and exploitation that these workers face.
Thank you so much for joining us on Seam Series. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and subscribe to watch more videos about Southeast Asia. We'll see you there.